Welcome back to Join the Octagon. I'm your host MJ, and on this episode, we're not going to be doing live commentary. We're not going to be interviewing anyone. Instead, I'm going to be sitting in front of a camera with my not plugged in microphone and just talk to you about the growth and explosion that is the popularity of mixed martial arts. So let's begin. So, before 1993, martial arts was very individualized. You had wrestling that was in the Olympics, but that was just wrestling. And Hollywood stars like Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, I mean, they brought martial arts to the big screen, but it was primarily karate. But it was on November 12th, 1993, when the UFC actually put on its first ever mixed martial arts event here where we are, Denver, Colorado. And that's kind of where it all began. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that mixed martial arts began with the UFC. But what I am saying is that before the UFC, mixed martial arts wasn't really that big. And we'll talk a little bit about what it looks like nowadays with it being pretty big. There's a lot of history that I can go into regarding the UFC's first event. We can talk about how it was actually sponsored by the Gracie family back in Brazil to show the world the beauty that is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But truthfully, I think that's a video for its own time. Royce Gracie, Kem Shamrock, there were amazing fights on that one night that rocked the stage. It blew everyone's expectations out of the water, and even though it could have gone to crap, UFC 1 was successful enough to at least continue the momentum, to keep the ball rolling. Now, it wasn't all butterflies and rainbows. There was still a huge amount of downs before the UFC became the thing that it is today. I mean, the UFC almost went bankrupt and they had to make its own reality TV show called Tough, The Ultimate Fighter, to just keep it afloat. And again, that's another video for another time, but it was able to get past those downfalls. It didn't matter if you weren't a UFC fan. You knew these names like Chuck Liddell, Brock Lesnar, Israel Adesanya, Conor McGregor.
The one, the only, the notorious Conor McGregor!
I mean, these are names that you just know whether you are a fan or not. If you had a television, there's a good chance you probably have heard of the last name, McGregor. And then there were the best of the best. John Jones,
Jones to the body, and it is all over!
Anderson Silva,
The best I've ever seen in MMA. Nice leg kick by
Demetrius Johnson, GSP.
really pushing the pace. Her run might still be a little foggy.
While some of their names might not be as common as names like Conor McGregor, they really emphasized the GOAT level status and showed the world, fan or not, that MMA has levels to it, a tremendous number of levels to it. Now let's talk about that. What makes these GOATs the GOATs? What does mixed martial arts levels look like? Well, first of all, we should highlight the fact that because we're blending all of these martial arts together, it becomes that much more challenging. Take wrestling, for example. A wrestler takes the fighter to the ground, they hold them there for a bit, and they get the points and stand up. But with someone like me who has a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu background, someone takes me to the ground, and that's where it's my time to shine. In fact, that's how I've been able to best so many wrestlers, is because they feel so confident getting me to the ground. Great, take me to the ground. But then when you're on the ground, your wrestling's really not doing that much compared to someone who has tremendous amounts of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu background. That's what I mean when it comes to layers. All of these martial arts have to blend with each other. And these GOATs, the GSPs, the DJs, the Anderson Silvas, the John Jones, they can blend all of them beautifully. Over the last 3 decades, mixed martial arts has exploded in popularity all over the world, really. UFC, PFL, Cage Warriors, One, the list goes on and on and on about how many very successful mixed martial arts organizations there are. And all of these organizations have been able to gather hundreds of thousands, if not millions of viewers, both during the live events, but also just via their social media presence. In fact, let's continue that conversation between the UFC, I guess representing MMA, and all of the other sports organizations, at least the major ones that exist. So let's take a look at these numbers. Comparing UFC to the other major sports organizations, the UFC YouTube channel has, at the time of recording this, 22.1 million subscribers. The NBA channel has a few million over that at 24.1 million. The NFL channel has 16.3 million, the MLB channel has 7.18 million, and the NHL channel has 2.76 million. Obviously, I know that the YouTube channel subscriber count isn't the full story. You got to look at viewership, you got to look at ticket sales, you got to look at merchandise sales. There's so many other factors that come into play. But this at least shows me and you that there is some sort of following behind UFC and mixed martial arts. And this is a sign that the UFC, whether you like it or not, I mean, at least I like it, but whether you like it or not, is starting to creep its way into the conversation, whether it should be considered one of the main sports organizations. All right, side tangent about social media. We're done. We'll move past that. But let's go back to the world of martial arts. And actually, we're going to switch gears and talk about the individualized martial arts that we talked about earlier in this conversation. So we focused on the growth that is mixed martial arts. And the reason why I want to focus back onto the individualized martial arts competitions is because they kind of have a symbiotic relationship. Mixed martial arts growing has actually bolstered and exploded also the following behind traditional or individualized martial arts competition. Things like karate combat,
That left hook to the head was high on the head.
Oh, spinning back kick to the head, the mouth.
things like UFC BJJ,
He said he goes to Los Bandidos and
things like BKFC.
There you're having fun at Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship in Denver. Let's go! Let's go!
All of these things really didn't have its place before mixed martial arts came into the scene. MMA fighters like Anderson Silva leave MMA and then go compete in individualized sporting competitions like boxing, and vice versa. Single martial arts fighters who start their career in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu or Olympic wrestling go become UFC mixed martial arts champions, like we've seen with Kayla Harrison. Can MMA fights get bloody? Yes. Can they get violent? Yes. Can they get sometimes even hard to watch? Yes. And at the same time, there's a reason why it's called mixed martial arts, because it's a mixture of all of these beautiful art forms. Next time you have the opportunity to watch MMA, give this idea a try. Give it a chance. Take off the "this is disgusting, this is violent, why are they doing this" goggles, and instead try to appreciate the movement behind it all, the synergy behind it all, the camaraderie and sportsmanship behind the two fighters. Martial arts, mixed martial arts, is a beautiful blend of so many different art forms. And I think that's why it's becoming more and more popular, as more and more people recognize that. More people can appreciate the beauty behind it. And I hope that this conversation made you appreciate it a little bit more too. I'm your host, MJ. This has been Join the Octagon, and I'll see you guys later. Good night, team.